it's about building the brand. It's about knowing who you are so that they can know who you are. But if we don't know who we are, I think that's why we hide because we're not sure.
Right.
And
Right.
then no one ever knows who we are.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman.
Hello, everybody. All right, this is the Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. We're here ready to rock with another spiritual rock star, and it's going to be amazing. We're so honored that we are a top 100 spiritual podcast on the planet, and that we are also in the top 2% of all podcasts in the world. And so, guys, subscribe, double review it. I don't, like just go ahead, pour it on, don't hold back now. Like, tell us what you think. And also, please comment on this show. Please give us your questions or comments or whatever, wherever you are. If you're able to do that, it helps us a lot. And we want to bring you a lot of value through this amazing guest today. Kimberly Maska is in the house. She is really a powerful energy, just the right frequency for you if you feel like you want to go deeper into your authentic self and your spiritual connection. And we're going to be talking about some of the nonsense that comes up for spiritual people sometimes, like we just want to be about 5D, and but we got to get down to brass tacks. We're going to be talking about that and how to align all of it. So me and Kimberly have the best exchanges ever. You got to be here for the whole thing. Kimberly, it's such an honor to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the energy of this. It's super exciting. So I can't wait to bring everyone some insights where they're like, this was incredible.
Yes, it is absolutely incredible. And so let's go ahead and share just briefly about Kimberly some more. Kimberly Maska is a sacred business strategist and mentor for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. She guides leaders to align their businesses with their divine assignment, creating prosperity, impact, and legacy without hustle or compromise. She's the creator of the Build Your Sacred Offer Challenge and the upcoming book, Sacred Business, Sacred Wealth. Yeah, congrats on the book that's coming out, and that sounds amazing too. And yeah, it's a lot of people really do. They struggle to get their businesses going in the first place, and as spiritual awakening ones or whatever it may be, but like they are healers or coaches, etc., the type of people that you and me, frankly, both, help. And, it's funny, one of our mutual friends has actually been a client of mine. I won't mention the name here, but he says, she reminds me a lot of you. You guys are got synergy, and it makes sense because I swear, like we are a very similar sort of a frequency base. There's some real similarities. It didn't surprise me that they said that because you don't take any BS. You're like right down Broadway, and I like to be that way too. So, so congrats on that too.
Like one of the funniest comments a past client had made, she's like, if you don't want fluff, it's Kimberly. She's like, there's no fluff, and I am definitely a no fluff.
Right. So let's talk. I mean, I'm going to take this just so people can get to know who you are and where you are today overall. I mean, you've done so much. Your bio. I know you don't want to give a big long bio, but you've been a seven-figure plus, business owner with this, doing this work and helping a lot of people. And uh, and you've been out there, and you've had you try to orient yourself, I think, based on what I know, which is not that much yet, but we're going to talk about a little bit right now. You've oriented yourself to try to help the woo masters out there, right? Well, we're all connected, we're enjoying, the angelic guidance and everything, but somehow my business isn't working, right? So, I don't understand. I feel like I'm in my flow at one level, another level, the money's not happening, and then people are saying I'm gonna utilize the power of the universe and all this different terms that people use. And recently you had come out and had another like a truth bomb on that. And I'm finding you're not the only one. I have someone else on that's been on the show before as a very similar had a very similar sort of pivot, with her business as well. But it was really big. So tell us like what's pivoted for you lately since the last time we've had you on the show, first of all, and let the audience get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. So thank you for all that pre setup too. So yeah, I've been, gosh, it's been a decade, over a decade that I've been working with spiritual entrepreneurs, which has been amazing. And but as you were saying, so many times there's this moment of getting stuck, and we think we're in flow. We talk about the 5D, and we get so stuck there that things don't turn out the way we want. And it's unfortunate, but anytime I would tell someone that I work with spiritual entrepreneurs, they would say, "How did you build a seven-figure business?" Because they're always broke. And that was that's something I've heard since the day I started the business. People would say, but they're broke, but they're broke. And there's
Yeah.
some truth to that, which is really like heartbreaking that there is truth to that. And I don't think there has to be a truth to that. So I have spent the 10 years really focusing on how do we create your business? How do we integrate the 3D with the 5D? How do we make this all happen so that everyone can access the abundance that is their birthright? And it's been an interesting, I don't like to use the S word, but I'm going to say struggle or challenge watching people have so much challenge making it happen. And sometimes I have felt like I've wanted it for them more than they wanted it, which is a habit of us healers, right? We want it, we can see it, I can help you. And but I've had an amazing epiphany recently, and I am now being called to bring God front and center to the conversation, because I think what's happening is that people have lost or didn't have their faith. And without our faith in God, I don't know how we exist and move forward. Now, that will trigger a lot of people. Maybe people are agnostic, which is why they're spiritual. I get it. I keep hearing it over and over. But if you look at it from a not only spiritual space, but a psychological space, that without fully grasping and understanding God and having that connection with God, we are actually at a level of consciousness that prevents us from accessing our highest version of ourselves, because we are stuck in this disconnection from God. And so I moved away from calling it source. I used to say God, source, infinite intelligence, the creator of the all. I used to say it all so everybody would be okay. And
Right.
I'm done with that. And now it's God.
Mhm.
And I may even say Jesus. And I may talk about biblical principles, because I find when I live my life by the principles that are out there, it just works better. And so instead of fighting upstream, let's go with what we know works, that's been given to us. And this isn't
Mhm.
religion. This is really
Mhm.
about achieving the highest version of yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's so awesome that you're doing that. And like I said, I literally almost like in parallel paths, and I would say this person just did it like maybe a few months before whatever amount of months, probably before you made like this pivot out in the public, maybe more, even a full year, even maybe. But like she completely, like she just met for her, it was dramatic. Like in her business, she's pulling things apart, like getting rid of whole apps she created, all this stuff, like and it's really amazing. I see you making these significant shifts too with just how your work is still the work, right? But it's the way you're working is you're evolving. I mean, I think that that makes you a spiritual rock star in itself. I don't have to agree with every single thing you just said. Like I do hate, like I used to always say, "What's your problem with the word God?" Like I started off that way, and then I did the same thing. I started adding in the words and stuff, and I'm kind of okay with it, except for I never use the word universe. The universe will bring it to you, or whatever. I mean, I'm like, what is that all about? I've always thought that was a really weird one, but I think it's awesome. This pivot you're making in terms of again how you're approaching it, really in the business too, but like the public aspect and calling people in this because there's people are starving for it somewhere, right? And it's like there's someone that's like, yeah, finally, right? Even myself at some level, I'm like, it feels rejuvenating. It's like it's refreshing. And like I said, my mind doesn't have to agree with every single word you or anybody says on this show. That's not my point. But I like that you took this step knowing that honestly, if your brain goes into it, you're like, well, maybe some people won't want to work with me now or whatever, right? but you're willing to do it. And that's important. I think that's part of what you teach, right? Like you've got to do your thing. What are you being called to offer, right?
Yeah, yeah, because if we're not speaking directly to our soul tribe, which
Yes.
is like a big piece of what I teach, then everything's off. See, and I believe it's all connected. You knowing who you're here to serve, which is your soul tribe, is connected to your divine assignment, and your divine assignment is what God put us here to do, whatever it is for you specifically. And when you tie those together and you create a sacred offer with all of that, then that's how it all connects. But if you have an offer out there that isn't working, it's because you're missing the sacredness of it. And it is sacred because it is part of your divine assignment. And it's because you're here to connect with and fulfill your purpose with your soul tribe. So it is sacred. And when people miss that and they just create an offer because they saw someone else create an offer, they saw a webinar work, they saw a challenge work, they saw whatever it was work, so they go build that funnel. Well,
Mhm.
all funnels work. Let's just get that down. If you've seen a funnel, it works because they wouldn't be out there at all if they didn't work. So all funnels work in the marketing world, but it's the connection point. So we have to tie all that together and have the beautiful sacred offer that ties in your divine assignment, your soul tribe, for it all to come together. Because without that sacred offering, it's like it just falls flat, and that's why people are stuck in their business.
Right, right. So how do we know what, there's again, there's so many people that talk about this stuff. Divine assignment is not like the one I usually hear. Usually it's your purpose or what, all these other terms we use for it. And even though I go by your secret purpose at my website, it's like I sometimes I even laugh at all these terms. All the terms I use, everybody uses because I'm like, what does that mean? Right. But really, I mean, what does that mean for you? Very curious because it does sound actually very intriguing to me. I'm like, a divine assignment. That's another way of looking at it. So how do we know what that is? What are some clues you could give to kind of decoding that?
Yeah. So I believe when we're in our divine assignment, we're in flow. We're
Mhm.
in flow. And things won't always be easy. That would not be any fun. As humans, if things were too easy, if we were still like sitting in the Garden of Eden with everything being given to us, I think we would have an issue with that. We like our contrast, don't we? And we need the contrast because that's how we expand our consciousness. That birthing of consciousness has to come from some sort of contrast. So it won't be easy peasy, but we'll approach it differently because we know it's on the path to what we're supposed to do. So I believe it's truly divine because it is a connection to our soul, it's a connection to how we've lived our life, it's a connection to what God put us here to do. And when you tie it all to get together, it is divine. Like saying, "What's my purpose?" actually is the wrong question that people are asking. What they're really asking is, "What's the meaning of my life?" And when you look at the meaning of your life, it ties into divinity. It's like, why am I here? Like, God put you here for a reason. You have a very unique gift. Everybody has something different that's very special to them. And we were given that gift or life experiences or the combination of to be able to serve and help people. So it's truly divine and it is an assignment. It's like, here's what you're supposed to do. And when you don't know it, you're confused. So we all, I think, are more aware of what it feels like to not know it. We are maybe suffering from a little depression. We fall into habits that aren't very good for us, whether it's eating too much, drinking too much, shopping too much, whatever it is. And we fall into that kind of hole in the matrix where we get stuck and we start creating these bad habits because we don't know how to get out. But when we're in the flow of divine assignment, it is flow and it's exciting. Like I am also ripping apart all of my programs. I have a new challenge I'm coming out with, or not coming out with, but it's in a few weeks called the how to build your sacred offer in 5 days. And like this is all new. And as I've literally I stopped for a couple months. I didn't do a challenge. I had a different kind of challenge before. I stopped. I haven't done a challenge in like 3 months as I was reworking everything. And now it's ready to go. And so that people can build their sacred offer and tie it all together. And it's scary sometimes because your human wants to go, oh my gosh, it's all changing. But when I know it's my divine assignment. So I am beyond excited. And I've had the haters who, once I used the word God, had a very big problem. So I'm like, you're welcome to have your problem. Go have it somewhere else. But I've had so many people be so grateful for the shift in speaking about God and bringing that forward. So you just kind of you look at the contrast, you know it's here for your growth, and it's the faith and certainty I have in my connection with God that allows me to follow this divine assignment, even though things might look a little unusual or uncertain on the outside.
Right, right. I mean, I think that's the thing. I mean, I think our linear minds, like what's safe, what's predictable, how will we predictably just survive, first of all, like is where most people end up, right? Like I remember one of my earlier marketing teachers was like, just I want you to remember this, like most people are just trying to survive. Like they're not thinking like you and me, right? Like they're just saying, how do I survive? And at some level, right? They're really caught up in survival. And then, then after that, maybe, yeah, then there's people that are like, oh, I'd like to thrive. I'm really focused on it, but it's not quite clicking in yet, right? And then there's people are like just they're starting to really live more and more in the frequency of thriving, right? It's this, in what you said, like their divine assignment and their flow and all that stuff. And so really, that's where the magic happens, right? Is where when we bring it all together. And I think some people think that well, maybe I already got it figured out, and maybe I just take this a little bit longer and I'll figure it out. I feel pretty good and all that sort of thing. But I think if you can't see in a business sense, you can't see the results, then something is not aligned, right?
Yes. The money piece, right? So if the money is showing up, because the money is the bonus and the result of you doing the right thing up front. So if the money starts to show up, you know that you're headed in the right direction. And if there's no money showing up, you're missing something, like bigly missing something that needs to be fixed in the middle.
Right. So when we're talking about your divine assignment, you call this the missing piece for so many people. What is it? Is it a statement? Is it what is it exactly? So, oh, your divine assignment. What is that exactly?
Yeah. And this is a great question because, again, that big, like, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to do?
Hmm.
So I have a process that I take my clients through where we begin to reveal what that looks like
Hmm.
because there are some ways to begin to understand what does that look like? Who am I here to serve? Who is my soul tribe? Like all those little pieces.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
so I have a way of pulling it out of people,
Hmm.
but ultimately, everybody, you already know. You
Hmm.
already know, but usually what happens is that society hasn't said that it's okay to do the thing that you know is your divine assignment. So we
Hmm.
get caught in getting the job and going to school and getting the extra certification and going back for another degree and all this nonsense. Sorry, guys, it is what it is. Because that's all nonsense. Because if you come into the flow of knowing your divine assignment, then the money does just start to show up. It almost can't like not show up. Double negative.
Right. Right. I mean, for me, I would say like right away, my own opinion, and it's been revealed too, like through hand analysis or whatever, different things, right? That, oh, this is your purpose, right? But I still feel like everybody's sort of looking at their opinion and their perspective, right? So at the same time, but I feel, yeah, there was something in me that's like, healers ought to be thriving, this is ridiculous, that's similar to you. And but I also feel I'm meant to bring it in a certain way. And I think the thing that I'm going to be doubling down on going forward is, within this, it's just this is kind of new for me to a little bit new. I've said it before, but like with the heaven on earth frequency is how I put it. Like that's that flow basically. You're doing it in that, but I have a different way of sort of putting it out there. What I mean by that might be different than what somebody else means. But like there's a way for us to be in this connection with God, right? I could call it God with you, but for sure, but like with God where more times than not, you just feel like, whoa, yeah, like you came on today. You're like, everything's great, right? Because that's how you typically are, right? We all have our down times, but it's typically how you are. And we can create everything from that abundant state. That's the simplest thing to do. I mean, but we don't trust it. We're like, but what am I supposed to do? So we don't trust the simplicity. So, I also know, like, I'm here to help people who feel like, they're overachievers. They've done other things, and like, oh, but I don't know how to do this. They're able to do all kinds of other things. They can't get the healing business going, right? And it's like because they've just got so caught up in, like, in their head about, and fearful, right? They're afraid of showing up. Like, I'm gonna get, my dad always said I couldn't do it, or this is, whatever. Someone's been telling me you can't do it, and you shouldn't do it, and all that stuff. And we have all that. So when you said people already know what it is, like, but then you put someone on a spot, what do you do? I kind of do Reiki, and like it's hard for them to even begin to articulate. So someone like you is really powerful because you just what do you think it is? Like, they already know, right? At some level, you help to flesh it out, though. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a whole process that I take people through where they can see it, which I do include in that challenge that's coming up. Build your sacred offer challenge. That's huge piece of it because you've got to know who you're here to serve. So we
Mhm.
dive into that because it's the foundation of your business. If you don't know who you're serving, I don't know what you're building. And a lot of times in the spiritual world, we get really hung up on our modalities and we end up, I call it selling the modality. So people say, what do you do? I'm a Reiki healer. Well, what do you do? I'm a hypnotherapist. Like, we get caught on the modality, and that's not what you do. And that's a huge piece why people's businesses stay stuck. Because when you say, we'll use Reiki master, there's thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of Reiki masters. So now you're like everybody else. And
Right.
then that limits your income because your pricing should match to everyone else's, every other Reiki master. And if you price above that, people go, why are you so expensive? I can go to this Reiki master for $100 an hour. That doesn't make any sense. And so everybody gets caught in the modality that they've created, which then hangs them up instead of going to the divine assignment and the soul tribe. Who are you here to serve? And be able to pull that in, and that clarity, when people get the clarity, I've had people come through my programs and they're like, that clarity alone was worth everything. Because
Right.
if your business has been limping along, it's because you're talking to the wrong people. You're not fulfilling your divine assignment.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, so how do you determine who your tribe is? Is that another thing? We just know it all, right? I do believe that's true too. Like, we already know it all. We just need someone to help us realize we know it all. It's there and fleshed out. So, but how do we know who our tribe is meant to be? How do you help people with that?
So your soul tribe is 10 steps behind you. And if everyone can understand that, they're a past version of you. They're 10 steps behind you so that you can reach back, grab them, and pull them forward, which allows them to go fast, which allows you as a coach to be able to get amazing testimonials because they were already headed in the direction that you were going and you're just helping them go faster. But as healers, what we love to do, we love to help the people that aren't ready to be helped. And we've all done it, especially with family. We've all tried to help family. Like, comment down below this video if you were one of the people that went to help your family because you knew you could help them. I know I can help you. Let me help you. Let me do Reiki on you. And they're like, go away. And so, but I don't know why it's a savior complex, isn't it? We want to come out and save everybody. But that makes a very difficult business. It does not make a very successful business. So we got to stop trying to spend so much energy helping the people that don't actually want to be helped.
Right.
Because that's, I think, probably, I mean, gosh, I'm thinking of all the clients I've worked with. I'd say like 80% of them come to me wanting to help the people that don't actually want help. The famous one I always hear is like, I want to help people awaken. I'm like, that's not what you can do. If you do that, that's going to be a really hard business to build because they don't know that they're not awake. I'm like, but they're not looking for the problem to be solved. So it's looking at what did you experience in your life? They're 10 steps behind you, and you're going to help them go faster.
Right. Well, I mean, and some people are called to, serve the masses, so to speak, and that's really true in their soul. And most people are meant to find this very, very niche type of tribes, in my opinion. Just look around the world for the evidence, right? Like, that's typically how it goes. Not everybody's going to be, the Neil Donald Walsh or whatever, not because we don't have maybe the potential, but usually if you look at these people, like, it is interesting. Like if you literally look at their charts or human design or whatever, you'll see it. Yep, that's what they're meant to do. That's why it's working, right? We're not all set up that way. I mean, I think that's but yeah, we could all thrive. We could all like really have prosperous businesses, is my belief. You just have to find that alignment for ourselves.
Yeah. 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 And that's important because what happens is there's a lot of comparison energy. They look and they're like, well, I don't have that kind of following or that kind of following. But we have to stop and remember we all have a different definition of success. It doesn't
Hmm.
mean a, 8-figure business. Some people are like, no, I am more than happy with, 200,000 a year. And I say 200 because I don't know how anyone survives on less than 200K a year now. Like,
Right,
let's
right.
just be real about it. If you're not making $200,000 a year in this day and age, you're living in poverty and scarcity, and that's not a good place to be. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna be really real about that because people
Mhm.
get all like, well, but that seems like a lot of money. It's not. It's not.
Right,
And a lot is so relative. And that's just based
right.
off of your
Well,
beliefs.
if 40 or 50% of your money is going to business expenses sometimes, like, what are you left with? I mean, now you're down to 100K at best. I mean, in some cases, it depends on what your margins are, profit, whatever. It really gets, yeah, and we're not going to go there today. We probably should go there sometime in the
We
show.
could.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. So that's why I say six-figure healer, but I always say and beyond, because I'm just trying to reach people where they level of believability, maybe to some degree, to get started. Because I actually kind of enjoy taking people like from the beginning, like almost like in terms of really growing it at all. I barely have ever had any clients. Almost nobody's paid me, or if they pay me very little. That's I like helping other entrepreneurs too, and I do that too. But like, it's kind of fun. It's like you're right in the beginning and you got so much potential. Let's see what's possible for you, right? So like that's like something that speaks to my heart, my soul, and something that I've discovered over the years is like that's something. But I've noticed like I get very frustrated if they're not action takers, and that they just like, well, I'm hoping you'll somehow like make me all this money. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work that way, right? You probably run into that too.
Yeah. I mean, I spent 10 years trying to help the newbies. I did.
Right, right.
And I'm sending love to everyone who was in that space, but I just don't have the patience for it anymore. Let me reframe that. That's actually not accurate. I have had so much patience and so much tolerance that I have now realized that that is no longer for me. So
Right.
it's not like oh, I can't do this anymore, but it's more of a I've given it so much of my attention,
Hmm.
and but I generally want it more for them than they do. And they don't understand usually the
Hmm.
the energy it takes to do this. Like you're
Hmm. Yeah.
birthing a child or you're
Right. Right.
building a house. Like all the foundational work and everything, it takes time.
Right.
We've been so conditioned in this society to just want everything with instant gratification. You're hungry, you go on your app, an app on your phone, put something in, food's at your door. You want to go watch a movie, you go downstairs, you click a button, the movie's on. Like we're all about instant gratification, and that is not how business works. And
Right.
people need to understand that. And they don't. They're like, well, I didn't get a client this week. I'm like, well, how much energy did you put into your business? And
Right.
so I have discovered that's no longer the lane I want to be in because it's it makes for I guess it's the energy in. There's more energy in than out. And
Right. No, I hear you. I totally hear. That's why I say for me anyway, I work with people that actually will initiate, like they will, like, so but yeah, the people who are, they're never going to build their business. I mean, let's be honest. Like there are some people, I want to say sadly, but whatever, it's their thing. Like they're never going to do it. Okay.
right,
So, and no matter what coach or help they get, it's not going to happen. They're
yeah,
might get a few more clients or something, but they're just never going to do what they need to do because they don't look at it as I'm going to bear my entire soul into this no matter what, and that's it. Because that is the standard that it takes to be a spiritual rock star, thriving business. Like that's what it takes. Now, anybody else that says, well, no, it can be done in 2 hours a day and, all this stuff, it's like, well, maybe that delights that person and maybe they figured that out after putting in a lot of energy and a lot of effort into it, because usually that's what happened. I mean, most of the time. So anything's possible, but you have to work with you. It's the way I look at it, Kimberly, right? Forget about all the other models, the other funnels, the other ways of being, and what it looked like for all them. The vast majority, you're going to have to put your whole heart and soul into a full commitment, no matter what. And it's the only way it's going to work. That's what I've seen.
Yeah, no, you're spot on.
Yeah.
You need the full commitment.
Yeah.
And it's like once you go through that birthing process, then it gets easier. Like I
Mhm.
work less now than I did in the beginning, for sure. Like absolutely. And people are like, "How did you do that? Like you're making more money and you've got more clients." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you set up your systems, you set up the process, you hire the right team."
Right.
And then you work less than you did. And then when you
Right.
want to launch something new or get something out, then you birth it again. And that's part of the process. But people don't want to put the energy in.
Right.
And gosh, we're such a species conditioned to fall into excuses and think that those are real, and they're not. And I
Mhm.
think that's what holds people up the most because they'll have an excuse. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. Like, who am I to do this? And my parents said that I couldn't. And like there's all these beliefs that are just excuses, and the beliefs aren't even true. They're not
Right.
true. They're actually lies, but we've told them to ourselves so many times they become beliefs and they become true to us. And that's where people get really hung up.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right with the phones and the apps and the AI now. That's another rant I have. It's like people are like, let the AI just take over. It's just throw out 100 posts a day for me. That's all. There's people doing this now. They get these apps that are just kind of understand them. They put in some input. Now they're just crush the internet for me. And listen, guys, you might get something out of that, but your frequency is what's going to dictate the results, not billions of posts. If they're all were you putting your heart and soul into it more so, putting posts out, you did many posts, yeah, for sure, that's going to definitely help. But just letting AI take over in itself, forget about it, guys. It's never going to be the case, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but it's never going to be the case because I think like there's so many seductions to just drop out and be like, yeah, just surface mind stuff. Let's just kind of meditate, kind of have a good time, kind of do my crystals, and gonna have this business. AI will take over. It's like, oh, you think the Chat GPT is gonna figure it all out for you? No, Kimberly is gonna help you to. I mean, I'm serious. Like people like Kimberly is gonna help you with that. I can help you with that too, but I'm just saying Kimberly is gonna help you with that. Like you cannot dial that in. You have to dial into your own guidance. You have to dial into the person, the mentor that's meant for you, right? Whoever that is the usual. There's people meant for Kimberly, there's people meant for me, whatever. But you ought to be thinking about how to prompt your coach better than to be thinking about these chat GPTs as much. Like that's secondary to me to like prompting your own mind every day, prompting, your coach, prompting your, all this stuff, like prompting your guidance, right? Like all this stuff. I think it's like I think it's funny because the technology is kind of showing us what we should be doing inside of ourselves in a way. Like, isn't it funny? What's your take? Like, I mean, this is a hot moment we're just having here in this whole discussion with coming up with sacred offer because some people just go into the chat bot, tell me what should my offer be? It'll tell you something, but 9 times out of 10, I bet it's going to fail.
Yep. I know there's this fine line, right, with AI, isn't there? Like
Mhm.
we need to
Yeah.
understand it. We need
Yeah.
to integrate it how we can into our business.
Right.
I
Oh,
think we,
totally.
right, I think we need to look at it as, when this whole thing came out with like hire a VA in the Philippines, everyone's like, I can just run my business with a bunch of VAs in the Philippines. And here's the problem with both of those situations is that you could hire a bunch of those people and sure you could tell them go do this that and the other, but they're not going to think for you. So you need to know your business, you need to have this flow for your business, you need to know what's going on so that you can then instruct the VAs or instruct AI on what output you want. So a lot of times people say, well, I asked ChatGPT whatever question and it didn't give me a good response. I'm like, well, because your input was not correct.
Right.
Same thing with
Right.
a virtual assistant. It's like I gave them this project to do and they brought it back and it was nothing like what I wanted. I did that once. I had hired these guys through Upwork or something to build a website. And I had this vision and I gave them all the information. They went off. I paid them, I know it was like $500 or something. And when I got back was not even close to what I was thinking. And I was like, what just happened here? First, I was angry. I'm like, I can't believe they gave this back to me. And then I thought, well, just hang on for a second. And I went and I looked at what I sent them, and they had given me exactly what I'd sent them. So I
Yeah.
wasn't clear on the input, so the output was off. And I
Yeah.
think if everyone can remember that, your
Hmm.
output is determined by the input. So
Hmm.
if you don't tell whether it's ChatGPT, a VA, your spouse, if you don't give enough input, you're not going to get what you want.
Right.
And people have to understand that, which means it comes back to us. We have
Mm.
to understand our business. We have to know who we are. We have to know who we're serving. ChatGPT can't give that to you. You're going to
Right.
need someone that can feel like, even I was talking with one of my coaches today, and she works with my clients in my Sacred Business Success program. They get 2 calls a month because I think that's so important. Like you, it's a group call, but with me, but
Hmm.
then she meets with them. So important. We were talking about people and the clients and stuff. She brings me up to date. And we were talking about the very fact that sometimes someone can say something, but we feel that what they're saying is different. ChatGPT can never do that for you. Like we'll
Hmm.
we'll feel and listen to the conversation and someone be like, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm fine." And we're like, "Yeah, I don't that's not what I'm feeling. You're saying this, but I'm feeling this. Let's bring it together." So I think
Right.
that's why we always need people.
Right, exactly, exactly. I mean, again, who knows, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years from now, what, technology can do, who knows, but it's not anytime soon. It's not going to happen in the next few years, I don't think. So, but I guess you never know, but I'm just saying, like, you're not going to see that sort of thing. And humans always want to be with humans and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so, yeah, that's a whole nother topic I could get into, but it's very juicy to me. But yeah, I mean, in the meantime, it's like the truth is the core foundation is like for me is always are we tuning in, right? Like I started this whole thing calling myself in tune. That was the business name, in tune. We got to tune in. We got to tune in. We got to tune in. And I found like if I'm not constantly tuning for me anyway, if I'm not constantly tuning into kind of almost everything, like almost, like kind of always tuning in, like sincerely, not just saying I'm tuning in all the time, but actually doing it like things just get off like things get off pretty fast like and so the more we can listen the better but sometimes we can't see it we can't see even what to ask or we're like what force should I go through? And they're like, no, you're supposed to go swimming. And it's like you can't hear that because you're so caught up on you're supposed to be out in the forest, right? Or whatever it is in life, right? And so that's why, getting the support and help, like you said, from somebody can see right through you, quite frankly, and see what's going on with you to help guide you is so important. That's why even other coaches and stuff that are this is valuable to them. Really, you guys are valuable. Like we're telling you, you are valuable. Your ability to tune into people, help them with healing or whatever you do is huge. And to double down, the more you're willing to value what you've got to offer, like those are the people going to thrive now. Everybody's like, I don't know if I fit in anymore. You're done. You're already done.
Yeah, we gotta own it. We gotta be like, we know what we're doing, and then being able to really step out. I mean, I think that's the hardest part for people. One of the things that I do in my challenge that people may or may not like, but I have them do their homework as videos in the Facebook group
Mhm.
because I remember one time years ago, not that long ago, but like 4 years ago, I had a client that was in my program. She'd already paid, she was in, what have you. She'd been in there for a while. And then I had a challenge that was of a different name. It wasn't the Build Your Sacred Offer challenge, but I
Mhm.
invited all my current clients. I encouraged them to come back in and rehear things because they hear it differently because they're a new person. And in the challenge, she did her homework. And in her video, she goes, I've never shot a live video before. I was like, you've been in my program for like months. What do you mean you've never shot a live video before? And it was really a moment for me to go, oh, wait a minute. She doesn't want to be seen. So how do I get people over that hump? And so I talk to them about being seen. They do all their homework as videos because we have to get comfortable. That being seen now, this is do or die. It's about building the brand. It's about knowing who you are so that they can know who you are. But if we don't know who we are, I think that's why we hide because we're not sure.
Right.
And
Right.
then no one ever knows who we are. So most people don't have a problem in their business of like, I don't have enough clients. It's true. That's a result of not being
Right.
findable.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today. This symptom of, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, another thing, of course, I've seen is when I'm like, go do an energy scan to go, in other words, get in front of somebody, make an offer, like, and because in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, we're working out, all the sacred offer stuff or whatever, whatever I'm calling it, right? The irresistible offer and all that stuff, right? But it's like at first, like sometimes they're so, for some of the people I would work with, like you haven't even got a paid client. Like just go out and just offer somebody, an energy scan, tuning into somebody and making them an offer, just whatever. And I don't even care how much money you make for the first round. Like just get in front of get momentum going. And sometimes they'll do it, but sometimes they come up with every reason why they don't know anybody. I don't know a single person on the planet. I said, you got 10 certifications, people. I mean, don't give me any BS, right? And so what I found it to be is they're so terrified of getting that moment where they're going to actually make an offer that they're going to do everything possible to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm sick. Oh my God, my work called me and because maybe they're still working some kind of job. Oh my God, I got an extra shifts. I've got this. They create so many scenarios. So how do you help people to move through like that whole bugaboo they have with collecting money, being, allowing themselves to make offers and all that stuff? What's your perspective on helping people with that?
Yeah. That's usually a money block tied
Hmm.
to unworthiness. And
Hmm.
that's a tough one. And if it's really deeply embedded, that's some serious healing that needs to occur before the money can officially flow in a big way. But if it's not too big, at least it's the acknowledgement of the money block because that's what it is. It's also the fear of being told no. So I like to tell my clients, you need to start collecting no's.
Yes.
Collect
Yeah.
them. Nothing bad happens when someone says no. And I don't
Right.
even just mean no for uh, uh, your offer, but just
Mhm.
go be told no. So
Right.
I laugh at this because this has been a huge space of growth for me. My mother, who's no longer in this dimension, was always like afraid to rock the boat. I'm half Mexican, half Czechoslovakian. My mom was Mexican, and so she played small. She grew up in LA, and it was, a lot going on there. But she would play small and like don't bug the people, just let it go. And so she would say maybe not enjoy her meal, but she would never say anything because she didn't want to bother the people because whatever, X, Y, and Z. So that kind of got stuck in me. My husband,
Right.
on the other hand, will ask for anything. And he's a genius salesperson. And so he has no problem asking. That's like what he does for a living, or not anymore. He's writing an incredible book about the ego, but another topic. But yeah, so he'll ask for like anything. So one day we were at Lowe's and the car, we couldn't, ridiculous. The key would no longer work. This is when you were talking about AI and electronics. Sometimes I'm just like, can I just have a car with a normal key that I can get
Right. Right. Exactly.
like jumpstart if I needed to, but no, the car wouldn't even unlock. So we're waiting for AAA. And while we're waiting, I see a taco truck in the Lowe's parking lot. And I was hungry and I'm like, I hadn't had a taco in forever. I'm like, I'm gonna go get me a taco. Come on. And so we go to get a taco and he walks up and he goes, and it's just a little taco truck. He's like, jokingly goes, una cerveza, por favor. Like, give me a beer. And they didn't have beer. And he was saying, I'm going to get a beer. I'm like, they don't have beer. So this is me, as my mother. They don't have beer. Don't ask. And he says, well, I'm going to ask anyways. And he does it jokingly. And the guy goes, no, no, we don't have beer. And he's like, whatever. And they joked around. I ordered my taco. 30 seconds later, the guy comes around the side of the truck, does this to my husband and hands him a beer. So my husband has zero fear in asking for things. He's not afraid to be told no. But like
Right.
I mean, he catches me on this still to this day, and I've gotten so much better. But I'm like, well, they're not gonna. They're gonna. I immediately go to the no why?
Right.
Because I've been conditioned to not want to hear the no or to bug people, but he'll just
Right.
ask and people love him for it. Like then he and this guy were chatting and like they love him for it. But somehow we've been conditioned. So we got to work through that conditioning of that no, going ahead and ask. We're not bugging anyone. In fact, we're connecting with people if we do it nicely. It's different if you're being snarky about it, but if you're doing it nicely, you're connecting. You can make a joke. You'd be like, oh, I was just curious. But he asked for the craziest things and he gets the craziest things. So I tell
Right.
people, like, just ask. Just ask.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be that you're asking for something for free, but maybe you just ask for something that's not on the menu. Like, is
Right.
like my husband loves duck. We'll go to a place, there's no duck on the menu. He'd be like, do you have any duck? And they'll be, you know what, as a matter of fact, we do have a duck. And they'll randomly have a duck in the
Right.
back. And he
Right.
gets that. You maybe get all
Right.
sorts of things if you just start asking, but don't be afraid to ask
Exactly.
and don't be afraid for the no. That helps that conditioning around at making the offer because people don't make the offer because they want to be told no. And then there's these money worthiness things hiding in there too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's times I've been like on fire, like I'm making so many offers and all that stuff. But I realized not that long ago, I was like, you're hesitating on making some offers lately, and there's different reasons why. But one of them was is I just don't like that whole idea of I'm gonna just say it, but like I was like, I don't want to kiss any frogs, basically, like was what it was amounting to. I don't want to be bothered kissing frogs. I'm beyond that or something like some nonsense like that. And it's like, no, it's okay. Not aiming for all the frogs, but like, you're gonna kiss some frogs, so to speak, like the ones you're like, oh my God, no, 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 like, and it's okay. Just keep showing up. And yeah, I mean, it's the funny thing. We've heard it before so many times. Like, yeah, the more no's you get, the more yeses you're gonna get, all that sort of thing. Don't go to bat, you're gonna never get a hit. You're never gonna get anything going, right?
Yeah.
So I mean that's so true. And it's funny with the food thing. Like I've got a similar thing going, but I don't ask it aloud. I'm literally like just contemplating like things in my field, and then it happens. Like
I have that
here's
happen.
your fillet or whatever. And I'm like, well, I didn't order a fillet, but yes, I did because I was imagining it the whole time.
I have
Yeah.
that happen a lot. A lot. Or I'll be thinking of a color and back and forth and I don't know, but I pick the one color and then they bring the other one. I'm like, oh, that's actually what I wanted. So yeah,
Right,
I
exactly,
love
exactly,
that.
and that's the magic. I'm guessing it just comes from whatever exercising the muscle,
Yeah.
manifestation and things like that. Like I just get so connected to these things that are happening magically, seemingly, right? Yeah, I got all kinds of stories with that one too. We could really go deep on that, but yeah, I mean, when it comes down to with the business, it just really be able to we all have questions. There's times that things aren't going well, especially things aren't going too well, your business not growing or nothing's happening. You've got it's, this may, Kimberly may have something to offer you here that we're going to talk about the challenge. She may have something to offer you that could totally change everything for you, like with this challenge she has alone. Like it's not like, oh yeah, like I joined some because I'm looking at IG now. I've been sort of a dinosaur with this social media. I'm like, oh, I don't know about this social. I know it sounds so ridiculous. I've been on it obviously for years, but it's just like I haven't worked it like a boss or anything. I've been just like, oh well, yeah, that's what you mean. And so here and there I have, but it's just like okay, I'm looking at, I'm like, you know what? Like, I love doing Instagram reels. Like, I just recently realized that, like, because I started doing it, I'm like, this is the funnest thing ever. I could do this night and day. I could do this for the rest of my life, just making Instagram reels. Like, I would just, like, it's one of the things that lights me up so much. So I'm like, great. Okay, I want to learn more though about it. But then I found out there's a billion opinions about how to do a reel and all this, right? So I'm like learning all this stuff, and but like I'm fine, it's when I started to say, look past the initial resistance. Oh, I don't know if I'm a yes to that, right? Or whatever it is. I don't know if I'm for this IG thing. And, then all of a sudden it's like, I'm just started playing around. I was like, I'm having the time of my life with this. This is great. And sometimes we're just so hesitant to just jump in there, right? And it's like, just jump in there. And if it feels good, just a lot of times we judge ourselves for that. I did something that felt good, then it didn't work out. Jump in there anyway. Keep jumping, it's all working. And I just think so many people stop themselves. And so I wouldn't want people to do that. I quite frankly, I don't want people to do that with your offer. Like, oh, I don't know, and blah, blah, blah. And they're on to the next thing, like they get distracted. It's like, just jump on. I'm sure you're going to get value 100% from Kimberly. So I'd love for you to tell them more about this challenge you've got coming up on, building their sacred offer.
Yeah. So, this time of what's happening in the world, and we don't know what's coming, and we won't speculate. But in the marketing world, in the business world, we're seeing some shifts. And so it's more important now than ever to be aware of the shifts and what's happening and be prepared because as this next wave of changes happens in the marketing world, and there's always changes every few years, something changes. Like it used to be webinars that worked geniusly, then they stopped working as well, and high
Right.
ticket worked geniusly, and then that stopped working as well, and like all these different ways tactics work and don't work. So you've got to go beyond the tactics and really get it. So what we do in the build your offer in 5 days, your sacred offer in 5 days challenge is we're actually going to build your offer. So you're going to have a new way of looking at your business and a new way of thinking. You're going to get clear in your divine assignments. You're going to get clear on your soul tribe and then have an offer. So in these 5 days, this is like nothing you've ever done before. This is not a normal challenge where it's like kind of disguised as a sales pitch. Not
Right.
even. It's like this is needed for people to get out there. And so you're going to come away with your offer at the end of 5 days. So you're
Hmm.
actually going to learn all the steps and come away with that. It's pretty incredible. And I even do a 10 times better than guarantee. And that means if you show up, you're live, you're active, your camera's on, and you're doing the homework and you don't think you got 10 times the value, then I'll give you your money back. Like it's that much. And it's only $97. It's like a no-brainer. That's like, I don't know, can you even go out for dinner anymore? I don't go out hot often because of all the seed oils and stuff.
Well,
I
for
don't,
dinner, but if you want to do a movie, maybe not. Maybe it's probably at least $97. So
right? I mean, that's just such a small amount, but it's the commitment because I want you to be committed. I want you to be showing up because this is for you. This is not for me. Like I don't need you to be there, but the world needs you. The people that you're here to serve, your soul tribe is missing out on your gifts because you're not out there. And that to me is, I'm going to use the word sin. That is missing the mark. That is the complete opposite of your divine assignment. And it's actually called, oddly enough, if you go into like Jungian psychology, it's called sacred guilt because there some guilt shows up around the fact that you're not fulfilling your assignment, that you're not reaching for the highest version of you. And that's not where we need to be coming from. So in the build your sacred offer in 5 days challenge, we go through all of it. You walk away with it. You got to walk away with clarity, your sacred offer. You can start making offers that weekend. You could literally take what you're building and go out that weekend and start to make money. And I would be more than thrilled if someone came back and went like, I made like $5,000 this weekend. That I would love to hear that. So this challenge is going to be amazing. Yes.
So is this for people who have no clue what, because some people might be like, well, I think I got an offer and, I'm starting to build it up. I think it's about ready and, all that stuff. So would they benefit from this, or is it for people who have no clue like what to offer? Like they're just like, I don't know, I do just one session at a time. I have no big offer and, like who is this really for?
So I like to do this way. If someone can tell me, if I say, tell me how amazing you are at what you do. If you know that you are incredible at what you do and you have a gift, and maybe you've made a few offers, like it isn't, you don't have to already be making a few $1,000s. If you're already making a couple $1,000s a month, 3, 4, 5,000, but you're stuck and you can't seem to scale, that clarity that you get, that changes everything. That opens up 6 figures for you so easily. But even if
Mhm.
you're brand spanking new, so long as you know that you're amazing at something. But if you're still like, I don't know what to do, it's probably not the spot for you because we're going to go so fast. You're going to be like, I don't even know what you're talking about in the offer and how much money. It's going to feel a little weird. So it will be better for people if you've already had an offer, you've had a couple clients, but maybe you just haven't figured out how to implement everything to create the abundance that comes in, or you're already making a few $1,000s a month and you're really stuck. Those are the people that will get the most benefit and just skyrocket with the information.
Fantastic, fantastic. I also have, I also have a little intuitive nudge that maybe some people that have offers they're trying to refine actually might benefit from this as well. Like they're like, I've got this offer. I think it's going to be great, but like maybe maybe kick the tires on that. Be willing to have it reviewed in a sense, like by yourself first and foremost, but through this process and with Kimberly's guidance. So,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of value in that. Like maybe there's a couple of missing elements in there like that. If you just get them in there, boom, like like there's a huge payoff for just a $97 investment. So,
Yeah. That's
so I'm
true.
excited
And
for it.
I'll share this too during the 5 days. It's 2 hours each day. And one of the hours is me actually, coaching you through the process, but the other hour is Q&A. So it's like hot seats. And so if you come in and by the way, I do limit this to 20 people per event. We do them every month, but we limit it to 20 people. So that way people get their questions answered. And so there is a kind of hot seat factor. You come with questions. So if you already have an offer and something's been stuck, this is perfect for you because be able to actually connect with me. And like I don't do one-on-ones anymore, but if I were to do one-on-ones, it's over $3,000 an hour. And so you get now 5 days, you get your questions answered. It's $97, 10 times better than guarantee. And it's kind of a no-brainer when it comes down to it.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot of people that are not making offers. That's one of the things I'm looking to connect with more people that on the show and any partnering type of stuff whatsoever with people like people that are more like you that I'm hearing anyway from what you're saying today. I've known you for a long time in your case, but like okay, like I'm not just here like trying to be so hands off and hopefully a few of them figure it out. You're committed. Like you're like as much as possible. They have to be committed or it won't work, but like you're gonna show up fully and so much so that you're not even gonna take, like as many people as possible for the challenge. You're gonna take 20. I mean, that's it. You're not gonna take more because you know the you cannot fully show up for them otherwise.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, then it becomes unacceptable. If I can't fully show up for them, then I don't want to do it, Like this is how I am too.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Well, so then it becomes about us, and it's not. Everything I'm doing is to serve, to help people to get out there because it's just so important. Because I know how amazing it feels to be living my divine assignment. I
mm,
see what that is in my 3D world. I get to feel it. I see the abundance flowing in. Like it just makes so much sense, and I'm like, it feels incredible. And I wish my greatest wish is for everyone to experience that. Because when people experience that, your life changes. It's completely life changing when you get this clarity.
right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember that with some of my first offers. It's like, whoa, this is working. Oh my God. It's like it does. It starts feeling like you're printing money. I mean, as far as the financial, because like it just all clicks. I do this, I do that, I make the offer, they sign up. Oh my God, everything's and it's not a myth. It happens. And I was as stuck as anybody in the beginning personally. Like I didn't hit it right overnight, like most people don't. So it took me a good long while to figure it all out. So this is a great accelerator. So I will put the link below and for you to check that out. And yeah, and so I'm looking forward to people taking advantage of your challenge. And if you can't find the link, guys, by the way, just reach out to us, and we'll be happy to help you figure it out. But what's another way? I want to make sure they get to it one way or another, so they don't have to only rely on that link. What's another way they can get to it if they don't see the link in the show
Sure.
notes?
It is spiritualbizchallenge.com. So spiritual and then BIZ for business, challenge.com. And that'll take you through the process too. And you can figure everything out from there.
Nice. Oh, that's nice. Okay, good. That way I can sleep tonight because I know everybody knows where it's at. All right. Okay, so fantastic. This is wonderful. I'm really looking forward to hearing from people. And when you sign up for the challenge, you'll let me know, and then let me know your experience with it. I want to hear about it. Okay, guys. So this is yeah, like you're in prime position. You're listening to this right now. This is coming up on what the 16th and
Yep.
of June, right? So
Yep.
like this is your chance. Don't mess around. You never know when this is going to come around again seriously because you never know. I always tell people, no matter what the business owner thinks, like she might be, yeah, I'm going to do it again. She doesn't know.
Right.
She doesn't know what else, and she gets bumped off, and she's like, well, it's time to do something else now. Like,
Well, I
let's
mean, it's true
get
because
that
I
offer.
did a challenge in January, February, and then
Yeah, yeah.
these changes started coming in and I didn't do anymore. And
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, you never know. But
Right. Right.
again, we'll take it from the standpoint that you have a divine purpose,
Yeah.
that is how you live in your flow. That's how the abundance comes in. Your abundance is tied to your divine assignment.
Yeah.
And so if that's what you're looking for, then you need to get on this now rather than later. And plus, the people are waiting for you to step out. There is someone
Right.
literally praying for you to step out because you have what they need.
Absolutely. All right, Kimberly, any very last words for anybody?
Oh,
Or for
gosh.
everybody, I should say.
Well, this has been so much fun. So thank you so much, Candace. It's great because we have known each other for so long. It's so good to connect in this format. And then for everyone, just remember how powerful you are. Like it's within you. God is flowing through you. Your potential is unlimitless. And so don't let this 3D reality limit you and what you think you can do.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for coming on today, Kimberly. It was a great delight.
Beautiful.
And for everyone listening in, keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.